Hello everyone. Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible, but there is some echo.
Hello, check.
Yeah. Now it's all right.
Yeah. Okay. So there are 77 participants now in the team. So should we start? Okay. So welcome you all to this session, Excel session, which will be conducted from 28 to 30th, like 3 days from now. So this is this is a graph of what you have given to us, level of Excel and number of participants. So most of basic of Excel. So we'll uh, plan sessions accordingly. So these are few general instructions. So firstly I will clarify that Excel cannot be learnt without practice. So this will not happen ki there we have you have attended this workshop and you will get to know and everything about Excel every time. Like there are many things in Excel, we will cover few of the things. uh, Moreover, this session is online mode, so we'll demonstrate things here, and preferably we will share files with you so that you can practice in at home. And if there are doubts, we can take it in next session in morning, first few 15 minutes. uh, I will say that practice these functions or uh, features of Excel in your project data, so that you will have some different problems and you can raise queries for that. Moreover, advanced things like macros and user forms automation in Excel will be demonstrated only because it requires very long time to learn these things. And so goal of this workshop is clear that you should know things, what things can be done using Excel. But like it it is not ensured that you will learn things in this, like you will use these things in your practice directly after workshop. So you have to practice, apply, learn, and go on. I will request all participants to update their details in a list and WhatsApp number in the link given here. uh, I will share this link in chat box also. And also after the session you can write feedbacks and queries and problems that you have not understood or something like that, so that we will cover in next session. So these are contact details. Mukul Yambal, Apurva Apte, both are Sitara alumnus now. Will shortly explain the structure of the course. So even if basic of Excel is written here, so these are all tricks that most of the people don't know according to us. Like even I didn't know many of the things when while talking to Apurva before this session. So we will cover these all basic things in day one. This will be more about applying this into data of malnutrition most probably. Then playing with dashboard. There are two dashboard. One is that dashboard that we have used in conducting Sitara interviews. I will explain how I built that thing. And second is India GIS example. So we will apply all the basic formulas that have learned in session one. That there will be revision. Most of the formulas will be used to build up dashboard, and session two will be more about dashboard. And third will be more about automation things. So uh, sending automated WhatsApp messages or mails, kind of thing. And I will try to generate automated certificate according to data we have, data of participants. So I request you all to update your WhatsApp number and details in this link. Yeah. So We'll start with the session. First session will be taken by Apurva, second will be mixed, and third will be taken by me. So Apurva, can you start
Yes.
with the session?
Yes, sure. Just give me half a second. Yeah. So I hope I'm audible. Check number 1. Am I audible?
Yes.
Purva, yes.
Okay. And you can see my screen, right?
Yes, yeah, it's completely visible.
Okay. So you can see an Excel sheet. So thank you, Mukul, for that introduction. And I extend a warm welcome to all the just let me check the number of participants. Can someone please tell me the participant number? 89 participants. Okay. So a warm welcome to everybody. And I hope you all are safe in your own places. So in this session, today basically we'll be looking at a lot of basic things. Okay. So there will be a couple of things which you already know, perhaps some tricks which might surprise you. I will try my level best. We have tried to come up with a structure which will ensure that there is at least some amount of value addition for each person who is attending this session today. The sample files which we have created will be shared on a drive, and Mukul will later on, share the link with you, so you can download those files and try things out. There are, of course, limitations to an online session, as Mukul rightly mentioned. I would have loved if this would have been a physical, actual session wherein I see that people are doing things, I move around and like help them out and whatever. So it is not going to be like this. I'm just right now sitting in front of a blank, dead screen and speaking. So in between, I would encourage if someone just unmutes and says, okay, good, wow, whatever it is. So it would be really good. Yeah, so let's start now. So what we have done is we have taken some sample data related to malnutrition. Okay, so this has been downloaded.
Moment.
Pardon? Hello?
Can I interrupt you for a moment? Hello.
Yeah, may I know who
Apurva,
this
do
is?
you hear me?
Yes, yes.
This is Paresh. I'm a PhD candidate at Sitara.
Okay.
Can you just turn on the camera so that we know who is the person behind this name?
Oh,
that's it. Thank you.
Acha. Okay, so just let me start the video. Okay, so hi, this is me. This is Apurva. I am based in Goa. And okay, so with that, I think I'll just stop the video. Yes. So I'll continue now. So as I was explaining, this is some basic data related to malnutrition, which is being used right now in some of the assignments which are given out at Sitara, which is my parent alumni. I am an alumnus of Sitara. So we'll be using this data set of data to basically look at features and functions, mostly which are basic, okay, but quite useful. And these functions that we see today will be the building blocks of what we'll be seeing in the coming, upcoming 2 sessions, tomorrow's session and the day after tomorrow's session. So so this is some raw data, all right. So if you see, there are a lot of columns. Okay, so there are a lot of columns which are there. I cannot see this data at one shot. All right, then there are, if you see clearly, there are some cells which are merged. Okay, there are no borders. I can see a lot of hash value, some kind of errors over here. There are lots of data blanks. All right, so what we'll be first doing is we'll try to clean up this data. All right, so for that, what I'll first start with is I'll just select the entire sheet. I'll put on all borders so that I identify, what is happening where. Now you see here. So now this is a merged cell. All right. So these merged cells will create problems while creating pivot tables or while sorting data and so on. So, and there is really no purpose of, having this as a merged cell. Perhaps it is some copy paste or download error. I'm not sure. So I'll just unmerge this cell. Now this column, I'll double check. Okay, just give me 1 second. Yeah. So this column basically is not required. It's a blank column, so I'll just delete it. Okay. Then I'll do some amount of formatting. I'll just put the headers on quite right at the top. I'll reduce the font size a little bit. I'll make them bold. Okay, I'll give them some color so that it, just let me demonstrate a small feature to you. Now I've made some kind of formatting over here. Let me change the font. Okay, so now if I want to copy paste this formatting to all the headers, what I do is I click on Format Painter and I just select all these cells. So this formatting gets pasted on all the headers. All right, so this is one thing that we can very easily do. Now just let's do one thing. See, I can see some spaces in between. Okay, it appears as if this data has been pulled out from two columns. Okay, so let's try splitting this column. All right, just to demonstrate a feature. So for that, I'll insert a column over here, and what I have to do is I'll select this column. I'll go to data, say text to columns. All right, most of you must be knowing these features. This is just kind of revision. So I say next. Acha, let me show you one thing. So we want this data to be delimited by some kind of character. Okay, we don't want it to be separated on the basis of a fixed width. So I've selected delimited. Then I go to next. Now my delimiter is a space. All right, so here you will start seeing how it is going to separate this data. And then I'll say next and I'll say finish. Do you want to replace the contents of the destination cells? Yes. Okay, so now I have split this data into two columns. This feature is useful especially when you are copy pasting data from one sheet to other. Okay, especially from some kind of PDF or something like that. This always tends to happen, columns tend to merge together and they can be very easily separated using this feature. Okay, so let's now take a look at this data. I don't really need these two columns, so just let me hide them. I'll not delete them, I'll just hide them. I don't also need these columns, so let me just hide them. I don't need a couple of columns from here, so let me hide them as well. All right, so at least I can see all my data in one sheet now. This is very important so that it does not become irritating for me, to scroll left and right like a tennis match. Okay, watching a tennis match. So I don't want that to happen. So I've just hidden all the things that I don't really need. Okay, so now what we'll do is I'll just see what kind of data exists in my weight column. All right, so I'll just filter out these things. Okay, so these things basically there are no values over here. Okay, all right, so these will keep on giving me error in my analysis. Okay, so what I can do is either I can say that this data cannot be used for analysis and just remove it, or if I want it to be retained, I can just do one thing. There are various ways of replacing this text by something. So I'll just demonstrate one thing to you. It can be done in various ways. So I have applied a filter and I say for example no data. Okay, and I just copy paste it down here. Acha, one small trick to quickly scroll down. Now you see, if I have to manually scroll down, I will have to literally sit with my button pressed and just keep on scrolling down. So instead of that, I can save a lot of time if I just press Control Shift and down. Okay, or Control and down. Control and down will take me to the end of my data. Just one word of caution over here. In case there are any blanks in between, okay, just let me demonstrate. Okay, just let me undo this once so that we are back. All right, so let me show you over here now. You see here there are a lot of spaces in between blank columns. So if I press Control down over here, it will take me to the last filled cell. All right, so these gaps are going to create problems for me. So later on, I'll be replacing these as well. So first let's handle this. So this value, I'm going to, change it with no data and then just copy and paste. Okay. Next thing is, clear. Okay. Same thing with height. I'll just check wherever there are no values. I'll say no data. Okay, acha, let's do it some other way. So I'm just selecting this column and I'll demonstrate another way of doing this. Oops, has it really happened? Okay, that's it. So I select this column, I press Control G. Control G is basically go to. Just 1 minute, let me just copy that hash value from somewhere. Yes, so I'll just copy this text. I'll just copy this text, all right, and then I'm selecting this column. I say go to special. Acha, I'm very sorry. I'll demonstrate it on another column. I'm very sorry for this. So just let me do this manually as well. So this is no data once more. Very sorry. So I replace this. Okay. So now on this column, I'll be easily able to do what I wanted to achieve in the previous example. I say go to special, I say blanks. Okay. So now what I'm basically trying to do is fill up all the blanks with a text called no data. Okay. Now I've just typed equal to no data. Now to fill in all the blank cells, what I have to do is I have to press Control Enter. Okay, so all the cells, now you will see there are no blanks anywhere. All right, so this is how you can at one shot change a lot of text, clean up your data. Okay, let me check what is happening over here. Okay, so here there are no blanks. Here there are no blanks as well. Here there are no blanks as well. Okay. Wealth index. Okay, no issues over here. No issues over here as well. Okay, so we have a set of data which contains no blanks, no merged cells, ideal situation for anyone who wants to analyze this data. Acha, just 1 minute. Just give me half a second. Okay, so I just have an instruction of explaining go to again. Okay, just let me do one thing. I'll just remove this once more. Just let me delete this. Okay, now I'll demonstrate this again. I'm selecting this column. I'm pressing Control G, that is go to. I go to special. You see here, basically this allows me to select. Acha, can someone please mute themselves? Someone, yeah, thanks. Okay, so basically this allows me to select all the blank cells at one shot. Okay. So I am pressing OK now. So you see all the blanks are, highlighted in blue color now. All right. So now what I'll do is, I'll just press equal to in inverted commas, no data because it is a string. And then very important, okay, extremely important. If you just press enter, only this cell will get filled. Instead of that, I'm going to press Control and enter so that all my blank cells get filled with the text no data. Okay. Now one thing that you should be doing is basically, now you see here this no data appears to be a kind of formula. Okay. All right. So for example, now I'll just show you one thing. So if instead of no data, if you were actually pulling out some value from somewhere in all these cells, for instance, okay, I do this, I press Control Enter. So you see now all these blanks have been filled up with the same data as in O column. All right. Now what happens is, by mistake, if I delete this cell becomes 0. So I don't want that to happen. All right. So what I should be doing is, I just undo this. I'll demonstrate it with the same no data thing so that our data remains same. Control Enter. So what I should be doing is, I should be copying this entire column and pasting this as a value. Okay. Now I'll just show it to you again. So I have copied this column and right click. Usually what we do is paste. Okay. Paste will basically copy everything. It will copy your formula as well as your values. Okay. So I don't want that to happen. I just basically want only the values to remain. I don't really care about what the formula is. Okay. So I select paste here, paste as values, paste special as values. Okay, so this is what I do. This is a very important thing to be noted whenever you are formatting data, you're analyzing data, or changing some data, and you don't want that it should disappear when you're deleting the master column. This is something very important to remember, that you should paste it as a value. Okay, now another feature in paste special, I'll just demonstrate. If you have a data set which is which is in a row format, okay, there are a number of columns in one row, and you want to put it across, down in a vertical manner. Okay, so just let me show it to you. So for example, if I have these headers and I control C, I copy them, and now if I want them to be appearing in different rows, what I do is I press paste special, and do you see here paste special transpose. Okay, so this is a very important feature. It can help you save a lot of time. So all these things can be directly done. You can swap columns and rows very easily. All right, so that was about paste special. Okay, so now next thing is, say for instance, I have this column of weight height over here, right? So what I basically want to do is, this height is in centimeters, I want to convert it to inches. Okay, so what I do is I insert a new column over here. I just paste this header, I say inches. Okay, height in inches. Now there are a couple of ways of doing this. So what I can do is, this divided by 2.54 is one very obvious way. I can just drag this entire thing. So wherever there is no data, it will give me hash value. Again, I can replace it with no data. All right. This is one way of doing this. But now what happens is, if you want to quickly change, if this constant by, for instance, changes. Now, right now we are considering centimeter to inches, which is not going to change anywhere, any time in the point of our lives. But still, if you are multiplying, say by something like dollar rate, or or gold price, or whatever, any variable which can obviously change in time. So this would not be an ideal way of doing it, because you would have to manually search for this entry, go there, actually change, and it would create a problem. Instead of that, what we can do is, I'll just insert a new row over here, and I'll just put in cm to inch. Okay, okay, I'm sorry, just give me half a second. It is saying not responding. Please hurry up. Dear Microsoft Excel, please hurry up. We are wasting a lot of precious time. Oops. Some glitches are bound to happen. Murphy's law is at work. I'll just stop my sharing for a second. Let me check out what the problem is. Just give me half a second. I'm very sorry. Sorry. Just give me half a second, please.
Hello, hello everyone. So my screen is visible, right?
Yes.
Yeah, right.
So so this is one thing. Pro was saying about converting centimeter into inches by adding 2.54. I will replace this like this formula. Okay, so what if like this 2.54 is constant here, but if it is changing, like if it might be some share values or something like that, which is dynamic or it time dependent thing based on same value. So we want to apply that thing here. So we have just made a 2.54 in different cell. So this will be dynamic cell based on some different formulas and values. Now we will apply, use this cell to in this formula. So for that we can just click on the cell. Okay, wait, I will write here for a second. So we can use P1 cell for the formula. So if we used P1 formula in the formula, what will happen is there is values here. What is happening is if you see formula bar, it is automatically changing to P26. This is P1. In third row, formula bar is showing P1. But if we go down the line in any formula, it is showing a cell before that, P57, 2 cells before that. So it is automatically changing the cell. So to fix the cell, we use dollar sign, that is shift 4. So before 1, if we put a dollar sign, then that first row will be fixed, but PU column might be dynamic. So if we check now in the down columns, yeah, the dollar sign row number that was dynamically changing in the before thing is now fixed. So similarly, this dollar sign can be used while dragging horizontally, but while dragging horizontally we need to fix column. So for column, dollar sign should be before P and not before rows. So that is just a difference. So this is use of dollar sign. Next is, even like this is one of the method you can use dollar sign, but this might also be somewhat different, like it is difficult. So for that we can use name ranges. So if I gave a name to this O1 cell and use that name in the formula, then that is also possible. For that we as there is name manager or define name. So yeah, we can define a name is let's say something inch to inch and inch centimeter. In that in the name column there should not be any space or dollar sign or like special characters. So I'm writing underscore in the inch to centimeter name, and you can give a cell directly. This is a cell. So and if we click OK, then you can see in the name bar, wait, I will give name to this cell now. Yeah, you can edit this names also by going to name manager. So what we defined is inch centimeter. We can edit it and change the reference to P1 cell instead of O1 cell, because O1 cell is already have some name, so I'm using P1 as my new name. Okay, so
Yes.
if now, hello.
Yeah. Yes, I am back now. So you can just complete this, Mukul, and I'll continue
Okay.
then.
Okay. Okay. So if I click OK is equal to inch here, then that name will come here directly. So if I click here and enter, then that value will directly come up there. So now I can use this name directly in the formula instead of any cell, inch,
Yes,
centimeter. So
yes,
that is it.
correct. Yeah. So just to add here, this is also a good practice, because if you are going to make a sheet and share it with someone, so having these names really helps, because they get the logic behind how and why you have calculated a particular value. Okay, so that is how it helps. Mukul, can I start sharing my screen?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope you are able to see now. Can you see
Yes,
my
yes.
screen? Yeah.
Yes,
Yes.
Yes, Apurva, you
Okay.
can go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So that is about it. Now, just one thing that I wanted to demonstrate. As we scroll down, what happens is these header rows disappear. Okay. So if you see here, now it is difficult to make out what is, now this is it HAZ, is it WAZ, what? Okay. So I want these headers to remain as I scroll down. So for that, what I have to do is I have to go to view, I have to go to panes and say freeze top row, so that this becomes easy for me to scroll down and the top row is retained. All right. So that was a small feature. Mukul, thank you for explaining about the named range. Just like we defined a variable, we can also, select a part of this data and assign it a name. Okay, so you just have to, it can be applied to a single cell and to an array as well. So I can just say define name and put out any name. Okay, and here if you see, there are also options. So basically it asks you whether you want this to be limited to this cell, to this sheet, or what. Okay, so that you can also check out. That was about the named ranges and the uh, freeze panes. All right, so now we come to the sort thing. Okay, we come to how to sort this data. One simple way is to
Apurva,
sort it. Hello.
Apurva.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Yeah, there is some confusion about dollar sign, I guess, in the chat box.
Okay.
Okay, so I want to add into it, like if we can have a dollar sign to fix a row before the row and column to fix a column before the column, and there is also shortcut key function F4 you put in the cell, then it will automatically give a dollar sign.
Yes.
Apurva, can
So
you?
yeah. So like this. So if you want to say, for instance, fix up this value. Okay.
Yeah.
So what I can do is I can select this, and as I keep on pressing F4, function F4 or F4, it basically gives me different options. Okay. So this is normal without any dollar. This is fixing both rows and columns. This is fixing only the column, and this is fixing the row. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is how you can use the shortcut. Okay, you can use dollar sign and F4 basically to fix up the row. Okay, so can I move ahead? Yes, I think so. All right, so with this we now come to sorting data. So we all know how to basic sorting we know. So this is like A to Z, we can change it to Z to A or whatever it is. We can do this kind of sorting very easily. But now what if I want a multiple level sort? Okay, so I first want to sort it by state. Within the state, I want it sorted by district, then by religion, by caste, whatever. Okay, and then by perhaps birth weight. So if that is what I need to do, I have to go here. I have to go to custom sort. And here, if you see, I can add different levels. Okay, so right now it is just based on state. I can add a level. I can say district. Again, it is A to Z. Again, I can add another level. I can say perhaps birth weight. And here again, I get an option to sort it largest to smallest or smallest to largest. Okay, so I say largest to smallest. And if I click on OK, now it is, now, oh, oops, there were some values over here which it did not find. Okay, so basically within, you can have a multiple level sorting using this custom sort. Okay, I'll just undo this to return back to our normal this thing. Next thing is filtering data. Okay, so if you just click over here, you see that all the unique entries in this column appear here as a list, right? So you can see names of different states are there. So what you can do here is, if it is a text, you can apply different kinds of text filters. Okay, you can say it equals, say for example, Andhra Pradesh, it equals Assam, whatever it is, you can apply those kind of filters. In case it is a number, you can apply number filters. So you can say equals, does not equal, greater than, so many options are there. Okay, so you can apply these filters to just see the entries that you wish to see. So greater than, say for example, 3. Okay, so now it is showing me weights which are more than 3. All right, so now what happens is, now if this is a filter which I have applied, and say for instance I want to filter out the children who are say I want to apply some other filter over here. Just let me see the range. Okay, so if I want to apply a number filter which is greater than, say, 100. Okay, so now if I want to see, I forget. Okay, I forget what filters I have applied, and I just see, and then I have to manually go here and check what is the filter applied. Again go here and check what is the filter applied. So that becomes a little bit difficult for me. So instead of that, what I can do is, I can apply something called an advanced filter. So for an advanced filter, what I have to do is I have to go here. So now list range. So list range is basically the range of your data. So I'll select my data over here. So this is my data. Okay. Now what I have to put here actually is my criteria range. Okay. So criteria range is basically telling Excel where your criteria are located. So let me just hide some other column. Just let me hide these 2 columns so that we can see how I'm applying this thing over here. Okay, so now for example, if I want to apply a filter to state, okay, and I want the state to be Andhra P, and within the state I want say for example gender to be female. Okay, so now what I have to do is I have to go to advanced. I have to select my data. So it has automatically selected my data. Now I go here. Sorry, I think I have to scroll to the top. Yes, so now here what I can do is I have to select these 2 things. Okay, and if I say and, all right, so it has filtered Andhra Pradesh and gender female for me. Okay, so this is what I'm seeing here now. So let me clear this filter. Now one thing to be noted over here is, when you put things side by side in columns, okay, what Excel treats it as an AND operation. So you want state to be Andhra Pradesh and gender to be female. Okay, so that is how it considers if you place things side by side. If you put them one below the other, so now if I say for example, let me change this to religion. Okay, and if I put say Hindu, and I also want Andhra Pradesh and say Christian. Okay, so I want either people from Andhra Pradesh who are Hindu or people from Andhra Pradesh who are Christian. Okay, so again I do the same thing. List range is this, and my filters are over here. Okay, I just press OK. Then you can see you can see that only the Hindu and Christian names appear over here. So basically when you put things one below the other, these are all taken as or operator. Okay, so this is and across the rows it is or. Okay, so this is how you can apply your advanced filters, and you can very easily see them over here, right in one place. Okay, you can also put this in another sheet and name it as, say, filter, advanced filter, so that you understand how things have been filtered. Okay, so that was about advanced filters. With that, just let me show you some basic functions over here now. So for example, now this, let me just see how this data is. So you see here, all my state names are appearing in small letters. Okay, so I want each of those names to be capitalized. So what I do is I insert a new column over here. I say state equal to proper, and I just select this and close the bracket. Okay, so now it has capitalized both the words for me. So I can just drag this down to fill up the, or double click to fill up the entire column. Okay, and then don't forget to paste this as a value. Okay, that is very important, because otherwise if you delete this column, this will give you error. All right, so this is how you can use the function proper. Okay, now next thing is, similar to proper, you also have something called upper and lower. So if you want to capitalize the entire thing, you can put it out as equal to upper and then select this, so it capitalizes the entire thing. Similarly, there is something called lower. Okay, so you can use that as well, so it puts out everything in small letters. All right, so those are some very basic, very useful features. Another thing, so sometimes what might happen is, hello, yeah, I hope I'm audible.
Yes, Apurva, you are. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. So basically, what happens is, we have a lot of formulas over here, and there are 484 formulas, to that tune available in Excel. So it is definitely not possible to cover all of those. Even if we take one formula every day, it will last us for 15 or 16 months. So the aim of this session is not to explain all the formulae in detail. Few formulae which are extremely helpful and underestimated, not used quite often. So those are the things that we are trying to highlight over here. Now another formula which is quite useful is count if. Okay, so now I just go to some cell, I say count if. So count if basically asks you to give a range and a criteria. So I'm going to give this as a range, and my criteria is, I want it to be, the text to be male. Okay, so now it has counted for me the number of males in this entire data. Okay, similarly, you have something called count IFS. So count IFS is basically a set of criteria. Okay, so now I again select this thing. So for example, if I want male from here and say district equal to Kurnool, for example. Okay, Kurnool. So I can do that, and this is a 2 levels or count which it has given. So basically, it looks for males which are from district Kurnool. Okay, so this is a useful formula, but what happens is, it is difficult to use this formula, if you have a whole lot of data and if you want to apply a whole lot of filters and analyze it in different ways. So for that, we have something very useful called a pivot table. Okay, so pivot table is basically something which helps you compress all this data and analyze it in the way, in any way you can imagine. So just let me show you how it is done. So I basically have to select this entire data set. I have to go to insert and say pivot table. Okay, and where I want to insert is in a new sheet. So this is pivot example. Okay, so now if you see, there is a table which appears over here. It is blank right now, and here I get all the field parameters, field list. So basically these are all my column headers, and here the area that you see here, it contains 4 things. Okay, one is report filter. So this basically acts as a filter. I'll show it to you later on. These are column labels. So the data which you want to appear in columns, you should be putting it here. Row labels and values. So just let me demonstrate. Say for example, now if you select state, okay, as a row label, so all the state names are appearing over here. And say for example, I want the count of by gender, okay, across these states. So what I can do is I can just pull it out over here. I can also drag drop. Okay, just let me show you. So I can just also drag drop the column from here to here. So now do you see, now it is giving me males and females, total and state names. Okay, now what I want to do is I want this same thing to appear over here. Okay, I want the count based on the gender. So I've just drag drop that thing over here. So if you see now in Andhra Pradesh, there are 1,031 females and 152 males. Okay, so you can do many things over here. Now, for instance, if you want only data from a particular state to be visible, if you want data from a particular state to be visible, okay, what you can do is you can either select it from here. So for example, I can just select Andhra Pradesh from here and see this, or what I can do is I can go to data, I can go to insert and say I want to insert a, I want to insert a slicer. Okay, so basically slicer is a sort of filter. Okay, nothing really different. So I put a state over here. So here now it gives me a list of the states, all the states that appear in this column. Okay, now if I just select Andhra Pradesh, it will just show me data of Andhra Pradesh. Okay, if I want to select multiple entries, I can do that by just pressing shift and entering, and clicking on the state names. All right, so using a pivot table and a slicer, you can create very interesting kind of dashboards suitable for your application. Okay, so that is how you can use slicers. So the possibilities of playing around with pivot tables is really infinite. So let me remove this. Now say for instance, we want to analyze it by age. Okay, so now age in months. Okay, that is something which I had. Okay, so now I can just pull out any of the entry, same entry I can pull out here. Okay, and now it is giving me age wise, number, state wise. Okay, so it is really amazing. You can just do anything, any kind of analysis that you want. What you can also do is, say for example, now I want to group Kibaba, say for example 0 to 6 months. I want them to be put together in one group. So I can just select those and say group. Okay, so if I minimize this group, that entire thing gets minimized. I can create such groups using this data over here. Okay, I can create as many groups as I want, so that it helps me compress my data. So really the amount of analysis which you can do using these pivot tables is really amazing. Okay, so that was a bit about pivot table. Similar to a pivot table, we have something called, I'll just delete this so that we save on space. Okay, so similar to a pivot table, we also have something called a pivot chart. Okay, concept is exactly similar. Only thing is I have a visualization instead of a table. Okay, so again I can put anything, say for example state, and say gender. Okay, I pull it out over here, and then I again pull out the column over here. Okay, so here you can see it is showing me a table as well as a chart. Okay, I can change the chart type over here. Okay, I can change the chart type. I can make it anything that I want, you know, I can make it fancy, anything that I want. All right, same thing again, I can insert a slicer over here. Okay, so say for example state. These are just examples which we are considering. Okay, so you can just play around and have any kinds of dashboard. So this is for 4 states. I have created a simple dashboard, very easy. Okay, so that is how you can use a pivot chart. It is similar to a pivot table. Only thing is it helps you analyze data in a visual manner. So this can be considered as one form of data visualization. So I'll just delete this. Now just let's do one thing. Okay, I'll just show you something which I was not aware of till quite recently. So for example, if I am counting the number of females from this data, for instance, okay, let's consider a very simple example so that the concept becomes clear. Okay, so now this is 16788, for example. All right, so now let's do one thing. Let's add a few more rows over here. Okay, so I am adding these 3 rows more over here, and if you see, just give me 1 second. Yes, so I have added these 3 values over here, new values. And now do you see, is it updated?
Yes.
Yeah, I think it is updated. So basically, if you want it to be updated, okay, even as you add new data, what you have to do is you have to ensure that you have formatted this as a table. Okay, so for that, you need to select your entire data and including your headers. Select your entire data and go to format as table. Okay, it appears in the home tab and you can choose any layout that you want. Okay, so I had done this earlier, that's why it appeared like that. So basically, even if the name suggests that it is just a formatting feature, it actually is not a formatting feature, it is a database feature. So when you tell Excel that, you know, this is a table, it starts treating it as a table. And if you go to your formulas, and if you see here, there is something called table 2 which starts appearing, which is basically this table which we created right now. You can give it a name. Okay, malnutrition data, for example. All right, so once you do this, even if you add your any new data over here, whatever functions you are performing on this table will automatically, you know, consider these additional rows. If you are applying a pivot table, if you are applying any kind of count, any operator, okay, it will consider these entries and update the relevant counts accordingly. So this is extremely important, especially when, you know, you are going to have a situation where your data is constantly going to be fed into your sheet. You know, it is very important to consider this. You can just go to home and say format as a table, and then put out the data in the format that you want, but as a table. Okay, so that was about pivot tables and about format as a table. Now next thing that we are going to see is, say for instance, let me insert a column over here once more. Okay, so I put it as height in inches. Okay, I'm again doing, just for reference right now, let me put it right away, or I can inch. Achha, that name is not appearing. Okay, so just let me put it out as 2.54. Okay, so I'm reducing the number of decimal places. So here, if you see, you can increase or reduce the decimal. I'm reducing it to 1 decimal, and I'm just, putting it down. Wherever there is no data, it is giving me a value. That's okay. All right. Now, I basically, right now, there is just one simple formula in this sheet. Okay, but you might have a very complex sheet, and if it suddenly comes to you, it is prepared by someone and it comes to you suddenly, and you really don't know what is happening. So for that, there is one very useful feature in which you can directly see the formula in this entire sheet. So for that, you have to go to formulae, and you just have to select show formulae. Okay, so now if you just go here, do you see here now? You are able to see the formula. Right now there was just one formula, that is why it is just showing this cell, but you can basically see all the formulas in this sheet. Okay, now another thing that you can see is you can see the precedents and dependents on this cell. Okay, so if I select this cell and if I say trace precedents, it shows me that this is the cell which is feeding into this formula. So I know in case there is some problem in this sheet, in this cell, I should be looking at this cell, because this is from where this cell is fetching its data. Okay, this is a very simple example, so perhaps we are not able to imagine the kind of use that it has, but just imagine if you have a data which is very large, complex calculations. Okay, this function can come to your rescue. Okay, so this was about your trace precedents and trace dependents. So the precedent is something on which this data depends, and precedence is some data which is dependent on the present data cell. Okay, so that is one thing that we wanted to cover. All right, so now let's do another thing. Just let me unhide all the columns. Okay, I'll just unhide all the columns, and just imagine that you want to print out this sheet. Okay, so we have such a lot of columns, such a lot of data. Okay, and you want it to be printed. Okay, so for that, you see here at the bottom we have got these different layouts. So right now it is in a normal layout. We have a page layout. Okay, so I will have to unfreeze the panes first. Okay, so I have unfrozen the panes, and now it is showing me page by page how my data is going to look. And in a nutshell, you can see it in this page break preview. Okay, so this is very important. This feature is extremely important for you to print out your data properly. So if you see, it is also considering, so this whatever appears within this blue kind of line is my area which is going to be printed. Okay, and these dotted lines you see, these are going to be my page breaks. So if I scroll down, you see how my pages are going to be broken. Okay, so I don't really want these things to be printed, so I'll just drag this and bring it over here. Okay, now just let me take a look at my data once more. Okay, so do I really want all these things to be printed? So maybe I might want to hide a few columns. All right, so I want to hide this column, for instance, and I want to hide a few other columns as well. Anemia. Okay, now just let me see how it is appearing. So first of all, what I've done is I've selected my data. I'm going to set my print area. I'm setting my print area now. All right, then I know that this data is more horizontal and less vertical, so I'm going to change my size to portrait. Now let me see how it is appearing. Okay, let me see if I can drag this entire thing to one sheet. Okay, so I have just dragged this. It was somewhere over here. Okay, it was breaking up the, sorry, it cannot be undone. So it was breaking up these sheets into this area into several sheets. Now I want at least my columns to appear in one sheet. Okay, all my columns to appear in one sheet. So now if you see, all the headers are visible, and if I scroll down, it is compressed. It is quite compressed, but at least you can see all the columns in one sheet, and you can read all the data, right? So now here, if you see, some things are getting cut because the row width is not sufficient. So for that, what I can do is I can just select everything and I can say wrap text. Okay, so now if the cell width is not sufficient, it is going to bring that data down to the next row so that I can at least read that data. Okay, so let's go to our page break view once more. All right, so now at least it is able to, I'm able to read my stuff completely. All right, so this is appearing in one sheet now. And as I scroll down, there are a lot of pages because my data is big. Now, if you see, if I go to page 2, the header is disappearing. Okay, so it becomes very important for you to go here, go to sheet options, and here rows to repeat at top. Okay, you can just select this, all right, and say okay. And if you see the print preview, you see that each page is having this header row repeated across pages. All right, so it really helps me in reading my data. All right, another thing that you can do is you can just try to scroll down. Okay, just try to scroll down, and I now know that it is, my data is fitting within 1246 pages, say for example. Okay, so now what I can do is I can just go here, and instead of adjust to 53% of the normal size, I say to fit to 1246 pages tall. Okay, now the advantage of this is, I'll just show you. If I see my print preview, I can adjust the margins from here. Okay, so if I drag this margin out a bit to make my print area larger, this automatically gets scaled up. Okay, because we have selected that it should be fitting 1246 pages. So this is a useful feature. You can maximize your print area so that all your data is properly visible. You can print it out very nicely. Okay, you can insert page numbers and other stuff as you usually do. Nothing really special about that, but the scaling and your page layout is extremely important. Now if you just see this page layout over here, it also sometimes gives an option for you. Sorry, why is this appearing? Just let me check once. This was not appearing. Okay, so you, in this layout, you can also give a title over here. All right, so you can also print out a title. Where is this now? Print title page. Okay, so I can also put a header. I can put a footer as well, whatever it is. Okay, session 1 file example, and I can just say okay, so it is giving me page numbers now. So I had selected for the footer, I had selected the file name, and here it was the page number, so that's why it is appearing like this. Okay, so you can do that as well. Basically these are the ways in which you can ensure that you print out your data really well without any problems. Now another important interesting feature that Excel offers to you is that if you have say 2 files, I'll just open another Excel file over here. Just give me half a second. I just want to show you one thing. Basically, if you have got 2 Excel files which you want to parallelly refer, okay, you are switching between one file and the other quite often. Okay, so how you usually do that is by pressing Alt Tab. You can switch between windows, but if you are switching between 2 windows in Excel, you have to press Alt Tab. Okay, so that is like one Alt Tab per switch, Alt Tab per switch, and then another Alt Tab to come back to the first window back. Okay, so that is like a lot of Alt tabs to be pressed one after the other. And if you really want to compare them like really well, what you can do is you can open those files and you can say view side by side. Okay, it appears in the view view button. Okay, you can just open those files and say view side by side, and you can either put on the synchronous scrolling or put it off. So now I'm putting it on. So when it is on, if I scroll, both the files get scrolled simultaneously. Okay, so this might be a feature which some of you might find useful. Instead of keeping on swapping between 2 tabs, it might be helpful to scroll synchronously and open the windows, both the files, right in one window. All right, another feature that Excel offers is you can save this workspace. Okay, so it basically, next time you open this workspace, both these windows will open up. Both these files will open. You will not have to open these files individually. All right. So this is an important feature which someone might find useful. Feature which is not really known, underestimated. So it could be used by you. Okay. So I'll just check the chat box once in case there are any questions. If I have missed the questions, I'll just, can someone, Mukul, can you just tell me if there are any questions which are there in the chat?
Yeah. They wanted to repeat precedent and that formula wala thing.
Okay.
Precedent and kind of thing, and header. Repeat header. That in printing wala thing.
Okay. Okay, fine. So I'll cover the repeat header first because it is simpler. Okay, so basically what you have to do is you have to go to print preview. Okay, when you go to print preview, sorry, let's not go to print preview. Let's go to page layout and go to sheet options. Okay, so here you can see the page setup. You have to go to the page setup. There's a small button over here. You can click there and you have got different options over here. So you have to go to the sheet option. Okay, so here you have the print area, print title. Okay, and here it says rows to repeat at top. Okay, so you can just select any rows, any of the rows which you want to appear at the top. Okay, so right now I just want one row to appear. Similarly, if you have data which is split across a lot of columns, and you know that these columns are going to break up. Okay, so you can select the columns to be repeated as well. All right, so that is how you can set the this thing, what do you say, the headers to be repeated at the top. Okay, that is one thing. And coming to the precedents and the dependents, just let me,
Tracing also.
yeah, so just let me unhide this. So for that, basically now I know that this column has one formula. Okay, if I want to see the formula in my entire sheet, I have to select my entire sheet, go to formula tab, formulas tab, and say show formulas. Okay, there are also shortcuts available. If you just hover over here, you will see some shortcut which appears. You can use that, or you can just click on the cell, on the button. So this basically opens up all your formulae, okay, in this entire sheet. Now I have to go to that particular cell whose precedents or dependents I want to see. Okay, so if I go here, I just have to click on precedents. So that will tell me the cells from which this cell is fetching data from, pulling data from. So basically this cell is fetching data from this cell. So that is why this arrow has appeared, and there is no dependent. So that's why it is giving me an error. It says that found no formulas that refer to the active cell. Okay, so if I had a formula over here which was fetching data from this cell, okay, let me do that. Just let me enter one more column over here and do something about it. Okay, say height in meters, for example. So what I'm doing is I'll be multiplying this by 2.54 and dividing it by, say, 100. Okay, yes, so let's see now, show formulas. Yeah, so I go here, I say show precedents, I say show dependents. So now it is showing me both precedents and dependents. Okay, I hope it's clear. I'll just remove the arrows. All right, so that was about printing, formulas and other things. Now let's do one nested if. Okay, so I'll just copy paste these headers to this. Basically what happens is in malnutrition, these three parameters are very important. Okay, HZ, WAZ and WHZ. So based on these parameters, there are some ranges which are set, which tell you whether a person is malnutritioned, whether he is normal, he is moderately malnourished, or severely malnourished. Okay, so there are some criteria which are applicable to this. Okay, so just let me copy paste this formula from here and then I'll explain it to you. Yes, so I've pasted a formula. We'll build this formula, okay, not an issue. I'm just pasting it here for your reference. Okay, so what happens is basically this value, okay, the HAZ value, if just let's refer to this formula. Okay, I'll use this same formula to explain you the ranges. Okay, so if this HAZ value is more than 2, okay, that person is called obese. This is some standard guidelines which we have referred to. All right, then if it falls in the range of -2 to +2, all right, it is normal. Okay, then if it is between -2 and -3, okay, so this -2 and this -3, if it is between that, it is moderately malnourished. All right, and if a person has HAZ less than -3, he becomes severely stunted. Okay, so we have used a nested loop over here, nested if. So let's do one thing. Let's try to build it again over here. All right, and let's keep on checking whether we are on the right track. Okay, so let's apply the first thing. So first thing is if. What I want to check is this value. Okay, so let's put only one condition, whether this is less than 2 or greater than 2. All right, so if this is less than 2, I will put in some junk text over now. I'll just say junk. Okay, so basically if format is like this, if a certain condition is is true, then do something, value if true and value if false. All right, so if it is less than 2, then I'm going to put in junk, and if it is false, so it means that it is not less than 2, I'm going to put in obese. Okay, so this is the first thing that I want to do. All right, so now this is 0.02, it is not greater than 2, that is why it is giving me junk. Now let's put in another if over here. Okay, because we know if we check over here, after it is less than 2, we need to check whether it is less than -2 as well. Okay, so let's do one thing now. Let's modify this. So my true condition is going to remain the same. If it is going to be greater than 2, if this is not being fulfilled, then I should have the text as obese. All right, but if this condition is true, I mean if it is less than it is less than 2, I also need to check whether it is less than -2 or not. Okay, so for that I will put in another if loop over here now. So I will say comma into bracket if, again this value is less than -2. Okay, let me put in the word junk once more. And what is the value if it is true? If my HAZ is less than 2 and if it is less than -2, what I want to do is I want to put it out as if it is less than -2, I will put in junk. But if it is greater than -2, so that means that it is lying in the range of -2 to +2. I want the text normal to be appearing. Okay, and I press enter. Acha, so there is some error over here. Let me feed in this formula once more. Okay, so I am putting in another if over here. I'm putting this. If this is less than -2, I will be putting in the value junk. Otherwise, I will be putting in the value normal. Oops, I am not sure what is happening.
No, you have to first. Sorry
There
to
should be a comma,
interrupt.
I guess.
Yeah, there
you
should
will have
be a
to
comma.
first
Yeah.
put a formula or
Yes.
put a value for what if it is true, and then if it is false,
Correct.
then you.
Yeah, so
That's
this
right.
comma, yeah, so this comma was missing basically. This comma which I am highlighting, that was missing. That is why it was giving an error. Okay, So now again, if you see, this is coming in the range of normal, which is correct. Okay, it is correct. Now there is another loop which I want to introduce. Okay, so if this is less than -3, and if it is less than if this is less than -2 and less than -3, I want it to be appearing as severely stunted. Okay, so again, and if it is not less than that, if it is in that range of -2 to -3, I want it to appear as moderately stunted. Okay, so that is why we will be putting in another loop. Okay, and I'll not do this again because it is already appearing over here. All right, so if you see this innermost loop now, it says if R2 is less than -3, then it is severely stunted. Otherwise, it is moderately stunted. And if this condition is not true, okay, then it directly jumps over here. And if this is not true, it directly jumps over here. So one thing that we can do over here is we can again see the precedents. Okay, so this is the only precedent for this. Okay, I'm removing the arrow now, and I can do something called evaluate formula. Okay, I'll just click again. So I have gone to that cell and I'm just saying evaluate formula. Okay, so now it shows me step by step how this formula is being calculated. So I press on evaluate. Now it is taking this value, okay, -1.71. It's less than 2, so it is true. Okay, then it steps in, then it goes into the next loop. If -1.71 is less than -2, okay, then it is false. That is why it is going to the normal. Okay, and that's why normal has been shown over here. So you can see every formula step by step. Okay, let's just drag this and see if we have got some other value. Okay, so I think there was something which so I think I dragged this formula. Yes, so now let's see this. For example, evaluate formula. Okay, so the value we'll just try to evaluate it. It's -3.32. Okay, so let's see how it is. So this is true. Now it is going in the inner loop. Okay, it is true. And in the end, if you go on clicking, it shows as severely stunted, which is correct. Okay, so this is a useful feature. This was just for an example. You can use the evaluate formula, show formula, trace precedent, all these things you can very effectively use for finding out, especially when things are going wrong in your sheet. All right, so that is how you can use these things. The other things related to formulas we'll be continuing. There are so many functions, useful features like VLOOKUP and so on. So those we will be seeing in the upcoming sessions. So I think with that I am mostly done. Mukul, is there anything you feel should be covered?
Let's open for question and answer. Do you
Yes.
want to repeat us something or some
Yes.
extra thing?
Two participants have raised hands. Mukul, I guess someone has put in some question, is it?
Yeah, we'll go one by one. Shweta Shah. Can you ask a question?
Yeah. Hello, Apurva.
Yes.
Yeah, I wanted to know one thing. Like right now, what we do is like we just when you want to repeat the same formula to to be applicable in all the rows, then you just drag that thing. Is there any shortcut for that? Because if there's many data, so keeping on dragging is a bit problematic.
No, you can double click there, right? You can double click there. So for example, if I want this to be repeated, I can just double click it and it will get filled up.
Okay.
Okay, only thing is you have to ensure that the preceding row is filled up. Okay, I mean there are no blanks in this preceding column.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's
Okay.
it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyone else?
Yeah, I think someone also raised a hand.
Yeah, Shruti, I think so. Okay. If error is left, we can cover that.
Acha. Have we covered all the questions which have been put in the chat box? Should we check those out once?
Oh yeah. One minute.
Yes.
Hmm. Yeah. View side by side feature. So she is asking, do you need to open both the files together?
Yeah. Together as in? Acha, so let me show you one thing. Acha, give me 1 second. Yeah. So if you see here now, if I have only one file open, okay, this column, this thing is disabled. So I have to open this file, I have to open another file, and only then this feature will be, enabled.
Okay.
Is that answering
Next,
your question?
Shruti.
Yes, yeah. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Next is one thing is left is CSV file shared by Mayank. Data
Acha.
visualization by CSV file. So
okay.
that will we cover in
Yes, I think that we'll cover in the next session, right? Is
next
it okay?
session.
Yeah.
Yeah. And third is link will be shared again. I think so with the mail.
Yeah, which link?
Link for the tomorrow session. So that is one of the
okay.
question.
Okay.
Else is fine. If error, you can cover it and then.
Acha, just. In which column should I try that? If error.
Value. Write some formula like directly with error in some column.
Say, where should I write it? For example,
in your height in inches column.
Yeah, I think I have opened the wrong sheet. Acha, it's already open. Okay, yeah, I got it. So basically, if there is no data, right? Height in centimeters. Yes. So basically, there is this feature wherein, as we saw right now, if I just do like this by 2.54, it gives me an error of value, hash value not found, because there is no data over here. It cannot divide this string by 2.54. That is why it is giving this error. So if I want my data to be clean, if I don't want these kind of errors to be appearing, what I can do is I can simply put in an condition called if error. So if error basically contains two things, value and value if there is an error. All right. So if I want basically the value to be this by 2.54, in case there is a value in the preceding cell, and if there is an error, I want to include a 0 over there. Okay. So now it has put in a 0 instead of a hash value. So that helps me cleaning up my data and ensuring that there are no those hash kind of things over there. Okay. Yes, one thing I had missed about data validation. Okay, can I take 1 minute and explain that, please?
1 minute, Apurva. There are again few doubts.
Okay.
Okay. So Shah sir, do you want to ask something?
Okay. Hello, sir.
Uh,
Shah, sir, is
I
is there
don't
something?
think so. We will look into it.
Okay.
Let's go to next doubt. Okay. Importing data we will cover in next session. Capitalizing what can like again upper function can be explained again.
Yes. Okay. So I'll just insert a new row. So if I want to capitalize this entire text, okay, so I just press equal to, I say upper, and then I just select this text and put it. Okay, so that's how I can capitalize it. Similarly, there is lower and there is proper. So proper will basically capitalize each word. Yes, anything else?
Yeah, pivot table. As you want to know about pivot table again.
Acha. So basically what you need to do for a pivot table is you will have to ensure, just give me half a second, I'll just demonstrate something. Yeah. So basically what happens is before preparing a pivot table, you have to ensure that at least your headers are not merged. Okay, none of your cells are merged basically. Because now you see here, I have just purposely merged this cell. And if I try to insert, so I am selecting my data. Okay, and if I say pivot table insert, it gives me a error. All right, because it is the cells are merged, so it does not understand which column this column should be referring to this, or like it gets confused. That is why first step is you have to ensure that your data is well organized. All right, then you select your entire data. How do you select it at a shot is you go to the first cell, you press Control Shift right arrow, it will take you to the rightmost filled cell, and Control Shift down arrow will take you to the bottommost filled cell. So for that it is important to ensure that there are no spaces in your data. Okay, and we have seen various ways of fixing those. Then you select this entire data, you go to insert, and here you can either insert a pivot table or a pivot chart. So if I press on pivot chart, a pivot table, it asks me where I want to insert this table. So I want to insert it in a new sheet. I say okay, and then this new sheet opens up. Unless you click inside this field list does not appear. Okay, so once this appears, you can select and drag and drop anything that you want based on your requirement. Yes, anything else?
So yeah, before closing, I have send you a link again. We will update links for the session and kind of things there only. For participant details, link also is there. Instructions are also in the link in chat box. So whatever things we left today, for example, that cathode ray oscilloscope example, and I think so data validation.
Yeah.
These both things are required.
Yeah.
That will be covered in. Yeah.
Yes. I think Mukul, someone has raised hands. Himanshu and.
That was by mistake.
Acha. Okay.
Yeah. I have one question.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Good session, guys. I have a quick question regarding so calculate percentage. For example, suppose I want to calculate how is the male percentage as compared to the total population. But are there any quick features or quick methods so that we can calculate percentage for a large data?
Acha, so one thing that you can do is, just give me one minute. Just let me insert a pivot table. Okay, so for example, state, gender. Yeah, so basically here what you can do is you can select, instead of show values as no calculation, you can select percentage of column total. Okay, so that is how you can very easily do that. So this actually I did not explain. So basically when you put something in the values column here, you have got a lot of options. Okay, so you just have to go to value field settings, and there are two things. Okay, so it asks you whether you want to summarize values by what. Okay, is it sum, count, average, min, max? So many options are there. Okay, so if I say count, or if I say whatever, now if this is a count, so it has to be like this thing has to be selected. And it also asks you show values as what. Okay, so if I select no calculation, then it will give me the absolute values. But if I select percentage of column total or whatever, now if I want to calculate it row wise, okay, I can even do it row wise. So it will add up. So these two will add up to 100. Okay, so you can do a lot of manipulations over here. So is that answering your question?
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Yes. Thank you. All right. So I think Harish Chand.
Yeah, so thank you so much for the nice session. Can we
Thank
also generate the bell curve for the wasting and stunting using Excel?
Yeah. So you mean in, making a chart from the wasting data, right?
Yeah. So the bell curve, like the distribution of the data,
Yeah.
-2, -3. Yeah.
So we'll try to check if we can cover it in the upcoming sessions, right, Mukul? Is that all right?
I think so. Yeah, we'll look into it. I think so. IUC had did something about it, so we'll try to cover it.
We'll get back, sir. Yes, we'll get back to you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. And okay. So I have shared a doc file with you. Link of the doc file in a chat box. So there will be we will update list there only. If there are any good session YouTube videos, we will provide a link there. So
yes. So other than that, if you have any feedback or any specific doubts to be answered, we would be very happy. We will try to cover as much as possible. If we know, we will definitely try to cover. If we don't know, we'll learn about it and get back.
And one more thing I want to add, like this is just glimpse some of the things. Like pivot tables has lot of things to do. Just Google things and you will get a lot of solutions. We cannot cover all the things. So what can be done? We are saying that this is the feature. How to use it according to your data? Please Google it or come back to us. Whatever you find well.
Yes.
So we'll meet again in tomorrow, mostly for dashboard making and formulas.
Yes.
Apurva, do you want to say anything?
No, thank you very much for joining in. We were kind of apprehensive how this would go because it is online, because people are scattered all over. But thank you for the good response, and I hope we could add some value. And we are always open to any questions. It is all a big learning for us. So thank you very much. Let's meet tomorrow.
Tomorrow at 10 to 11:30.
10 to 11:30. Yes,
shared,
same time.
Yeah,
yes.
Link will be shared with email ID.
Correct. Yes. Okay. All right. Thank you very much.